Now, let's go deeper into the Canadian numbers. According to the report, Canada's 2026 immigration plan, it includes a standard permanent resident target of around 380,000, with additional one-time initiatives taking the broader effective target higher. By the end of June, Canada had admitted about 182,100 permanent residents across the relevant category. But the important number, it is not only the total. It is where those permanent residents are coming from. The economic class is behind the schedule, by the way. Well, that includes skilled workers pathway, express entry, and provincial program. And this is where Canada's immigration strategy is becoming clear. Ottawa has been dealing with housing pressure, infrastructure concern, population growth, temporary resident number, and public pressure around immigration. So instead of simply increasing the number of few people entering from abroad, Canada is increasingly trying to convert some of people who are already inside the country into permanent residents. And that means a person working in Canada on a temporary permit can become more strategically valuable than somebody sitting outside Canada waiting for an invitation here. And this is why Canadian experience class, that matters. If you already have Canadian work experience, you may have access to the pathway that an overseas applicant does not. And then there is another factor here, French. Canada has been increasing its focus on French-speaking immigration outside Quebec. And that creates another pathway for the candidates who can demonstrate strong French language ability here. So, the immigration map is changing. It is no longer simply degree plus English plus work experience is equal to Canada PR. The system is becoming more targeted. Occupation matters, province matters, language matters, Canadian work experience, that also matters, and moreover, timing matters. Well, for Indian professionals, this means a strategy built 5 years ago may no longer be the best strategy today. While Canada has long been one of the biggest destinations for Indian migrants, be it anyone, students, workers, families, professionals, but for years, the assumption was simple. Study in Canada, work in Canada, get a Canadian experience, apply for permanent residence. But the Canadian immigration system, it is becoming more selective now. According to Times XP's report, Canada admitted about 182,100 permanent residents in the first half of 2026. India remained the biggest source country, by the way, with more than 44,000 Indian citizens receiving PR. It's a huge number, by the way. But here's where the story gets interesting. The total number of Indian PR admissions, it may still be large, but India's share of overall Canadian immigration, that has been declining. And that tells us something. Canada is not necessarily closing the doors to Indians. It is diversifying who comes through the door and how they qualify. Well, the economic class is also behind this targeted pace, and according to the report here. And yes, that includes programs such as Express Entry and Provincial Nominee program. At the same time, Canada is placing more emphasis on people who are already inside the country. People with Canadian work experience, people in targeted occupation, people who speak French, people who meet specific regional needs. And this is the major shift. Why? Because the old model, it was bring skilled people from anywhere in the world. The new model increasingly looks like bring people who already fit Canada's economic and regional needs. And that difference, it matters a lot to Indians who are applying from outside Canada. A person sitting in India with a good degree and strong English may still find the system difficult for their CRS score that is not competitive. In the meantime, somebody already working in Canada may have a much stronger pathway. And that takes us to the next story, ladies and gentlemen, because the numbers don't tell us that Canada is changing. They tell us where the pressure is building.